Hey everybody, this is JT Movie, and today we're going to be looking at how to design heads for animation. So one of the trickiest things about animation, I think, is designing not only a character, but making him consistent when he rotates, when he turns, when he moves, everything. I can draw fairly okay, enough where I can draw something like this, but the problem is it's not exactly consistent when it's rotated. And when you're animating, you want your character to look as consistent as possible. I'm going to try to explain how I have learned to design characters now to make them consistent, kind of a cheating sort of way, but it works. And I understand that not everybody has this particular style, so I'm going to try to explain how you can take from this example and then convert it to whatever style you're going for. This is from an artist, I believe it's a girl, Ravietta, I'm totally butchering the name, but they basically do like 3D models of characters, all kinds of art and animation. She's incredible. But this is what I particularly liked, where she just has a complete 3D model of the characters, but the heads themselves is what we're focusing on here. This 3D modeled head is exactly the head I've used to make all my character rotations. So here I have my character Devin, then we have this thing. Now it may not look similar, but that's kind of the point. So I use this as a foundation, the head itself, and then I convert it to whatever I want. So right click, save the image. Okay, then we're gonna go to import into stage. It's an animated GIF, so the whole thing goes inside of it, and now you have the entire head in your animation. All right, so now I'm gonna draw a new head that I have never drawn before. I have all those heads I showed before, but I don't exactly have this exact angle. So this is how you trace it, basically. When you start tracing these heads, you're gonna find very similar things at each angle. Like for instance, these eyebrows that I have right here are exactly the same. All I did is basically make this one go in a little bit to give it that angle look, but they're basically the same eyebrows. So you'll find yourself reusing a lot of stuff. So a lot of this is copying and pasting. The nose, of course, is different, but the eyes, those are the same. As you go along, you'll find yourself, just to make it as consistent as possible, you'll be copying these things over. So we have our animation on here. We have it on a different layer. And now for tracing, what you want to do is basically push Control G. Now you're inside of a group layer. Then, since it's a head, we're going to use the circle tool right here. And I like to use my lines at 0.3. I guess this just depends on whatever style you're going for. Personally, I like this. So we're going to line up our circle right here. Get out our line right here. And I'm guessing a lot of you watching this do not have a drawing tablet, and that's fine. I actually use just the mouse for this because that'll make it as perfect as possible with a couple of exceptions. So it's fine if you have a mouse in this part of the animation process. So you're basically just gonna be putting these lines together as is. And of course, make sure the magnetic tool is together so everything, all the lines connect up. You're just trying to trace it as perfectly as possible. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect or anything. Don't stress over it too much because, you know, you're basically tracing something, and at the end of the day, you don't want to just be copying something 100%. Okay. And then like for the ear here, I would in fact use my drawing tool on my tablet here. But it depends, but for the most part, you can get away with doing this on the mouse and it goes pretty quickly. And then just delete key when you have those delete lines you need to get rid of. And you don't need, of course, to add every detail like these things. You don't have to do that, unless of course your character is going to be doing that. But what you're just trying to do right now is find the foundation for whatever you're going to be drawing. And then for something like this, if you already have heads drawn like I do, you want to copy over this ear. Now, if this is your first ear doing it, you're just going to do it the way, whatever you're going to do it. But you're going to want to copy that over. So now it's consistent. And of course, since it's at a different angle, it should probably just go in just slightly bit more. Then you line it up and then draw right here. This is pretty easy. Some of these curve just slightly. Neck. Then just the mouth, just like a basic standard mouth here. I like to curve that a little bit. And for the nose. And for the eyes, he kind of has like these kind of flat eyes that I don't actually like. So I sort of manipulated my own eyes around that. I sort of changed it up here. This is my double cheating here, but basically I already have my eyes drawn, so I can just paste them over here. But of course, you probably aren't going to have your own pre-made eyes like I do, so so we'll draw the foundation here. Okay, and then that's more or less what they have. It's sort of like a half a circle kind of deal for the eye shape, for the, yeah. And we can manipulate it accordingly. So we'll just bend some lines around here, do a little bit of like this, right? And then for the eye themselves, you can just make a circle. Actually, the eyes, I do put them on 0.10 because they're a lot smaller. So I'll change this line size to 0.10. So make it a perfect circle here. And then make an even smaller circle for the iris itself. Make that black, and then I just use blue as my standard, and then I give a little white one. And of course you can change this to whatever type of eye, a cat eye, it doesn't matter. And I like to put this part in a group itself, so there we go. And then I like to take away the lines on that too. Okay, so here's the eye right there. Group it. Now it's in a group layer. So anytime he needs to move the eye, you can click on it and just move it around. And you're gonna put everything in a group layer. So let's start by doing the mouth here. Just select all of them and put Control G, basically the thing that got you into here. This eye can probably be a lot smaller. Okay, and then his eye himself right there can be white. Clicked over, there we go. So there's an eye. And then pretty much for the majority of these heads, if not all of them, you only really have to do half the facial features for the most part. So I guess I'll just use my new eye here, and this eye actually turned out pretty good. So I'll copy it, then paste it over. Horizontal flip, just like that. And then since it's not perfectly straight, we'll just make this a little bit angled in more. So there's that. So that's how that's turning out so far. And then for the eyebrows, for the most part, the eyebrows will just be identical for every single one, except you'll move them over. Okay, and also you want to start coloring these in, of course. So, okay, so now we have more or less the head we need. There it is, boom, done. Now what you're gonna do is sort of, you're gonna wanna put everything as a group, right? So let's first copy these eyebrows, push Control G, now they're a group. And then these eyes, this part of it, also in a group. And then these should probably be in a group themselves. So yeah, so anytime he moves his eyes, it's all together. So it's all gonna remain consistent. It's not gonna be 100% perfect, but in most situations when you move the eye around, you do these certain things, it'll work fine. And yeah, so we have this, and then for the whole character himself, we can do just that, and there we go. So not 100% perfect, but we can adjust accordingly now that we have our foundation. Okay, so how do we get from here to here? All right, so there's a lot of things that's going at play here. Firstly, all of these heads are exactly from the same foundation. And you might be thinking it's the hair, maybe the skin color, and yes, that does play a role in it, but it's everything. It's the noses are different. Some of the eyebrows are different. The mouth and the mouth location is different. Some of the chins are changed. This one's a lot more wider. This one's a lot more skinnier. There's a lot of things going in play to make it look like it's completely different characters, even though they all more or less have the same structure. And I think if you can do that, you can almost do with anything, with a really super cartoony robot thing or whatever, as long as you know where each individual part is. So we're going to use our new head that we created, and then we're going to basically create a new character from that. And you don't have to, once you have this foundation, you don't have to use any of the individual parts, meaning this eyebrow can be completely different. You know where the location is, that's what's important. But now it can be really weird eyebrows, right? It could be nothing like this, you know, it could be just this crazy kind of thing to change up the character. Same thing with the nose, right? So we don't have to use this part of the nose. We could do this kind of nose, right? We can completely change it up, and that could completely change up the entire character. So let's even just use this by itself. All right, so we know what it looks like right here. Let's change it up so it looks completely different from this. So we already did the chin. Let's do some different eyebrows. Don't delete your eyebrows, just do a different one. Let's see here. Okay, so once we get it in location, we can just start deleting the other one. Okay, and doing the same here, and just slightly bring it in depending on the thing. Now, if it was more of a 3/4 quarter turn, it would just be brought in even more like that. Okay, and there we go. Also, you can change eye color, like a green. Okay, chin, and then let's just change the face a little bit here. So what you could do is take the jawline here, like that. All right, keep it like that. He's kind of a bigger dude. And then lower the mouth a little bit, and let's change the mouth. Let's make it just like that. So okay, well, let's just draw a different nose. Nothing extremely complicated. Okay, and of course, whatever you're drawing, you want to make it so it's rotatable, right? So if I had another angle, for instance, like this one, right? And I wanted to use this nose to keep the character consistent, I need to edit this nose accordingly. So I would paste it over like this. I go into the nose, bring it over here. And the cool thing is, a lot of the times, depending on your style, or what you're going for, I guess, it actually can just straight up rotate over, right? But you do certain things to make it pretty good. You, for instance, take this and move this back because that's where probably the angle would be. So this is him versus him. I mean, that's, we changed everything, every feature. That's a different person, right? So that's a completely different person. And they haven't even changed skin color, you know, so just certain things like that can completely change the entire outlook of what the character, whatever character you're going for. So there you go. And then hair is one of the trickiest things to nail, and that almost requires another tutorial. But I use a lot of the methods that I use in this tutorial with the eyebrows, with the eyes, etc., of changing the angle and manipulating it. For instance, Devin's hair right here, a lot of this hair is just the same, copied over. So, for instance, here's his hair. And of course, the hair is on a different group layer. Everything is in a group layer, so you can manipulate it accordingly. Right? So, for instance, his hair. So if I want to make it, let's do something more extreme, like this angle, right? So you gotta adjust accordingly. And in this particular style, it's easy to manipulate, but these things should probably line up more or less. See how it lines up? So it's a lot of copying, pasting over, and then manipulating it. So this is our basis. This is what we're playing with. Let's do some other stuff. Let's do a beard, right? So how I like to do a beard, because we're gonna make a character here and you're probably gonna know who it is when I'm done, but what I like to do is click their jaw, copy it, and then paste in place, and then Control G, making it a group. So now we have a separate jaw here. So now we can draw our beard. So it perfectly lines up and it doesn't go off to anything. So go like this. That should be fine. I like to change the alpha for beards. Just a little, it depends. So like something like that, but if you're going for like a 5 o'clock shadow, you change it to really low alpha. So there's like a 5 o'clock shadow beard, but that does not fit the character I'm attempting to make. So there we go. Okay, and now let's do some hair. I'm not exactly gonna go too much into detail how to manipulate it. We kind of already brushed over that. That's kind of a very complicated process, but it's more or less doing what you're doing for everything else. So like the beard, we just click the head part around the head. So now we got our top head here. And then this is probably when I start using my pen, my drawing tablet pen. Of course, matching up with the angle and having some understanding of how people are supposed to look, things, hair, all that stuff definitely helps, because this can take a long time to design characters like this. Also, another thing to change up facial expressions is of course changing the eyes themselves. And what cool little thing to add like dynamic to a character is doing this with their eyes. I like doing this sort of thing right here. Sort of can make them look tired, but gives a lot more dynamic to it. Okay, so I think it turned out pretty good. I actually like this a lot, but I don't think it turned out like the character I was trying to do. I was trying to do Thor from Ragnarok. I really like his look in that movie. Something else I did forget to mention was eyelids. So when a character blinks, you of course want to have eyelids. The trick I use for that, and also you can have them just sort of squinting if you wanted a different look for your character. So it also work for that. So you're going to copy this white part. You're going to put it over the eyes themselves. Go inside, delete all this stuff, and then let's put a line through the middle right here. And then we're going to delete this bottom right here. Then let's get their skin color. there for eyelids. And this is a lot better like that. Definitely gives it more personality, more character to it. And then if you were just blinking, you would just do this. Change it like this, and then cut off this top right here. So you would kind of do the reverse. So now his eyes are closed. And then finally, if we're going to put it inside of an animation, this is what we got to do. You basically put everything inside of a graphic. So what I do is I delete the neck because there's already going to be a neck drawn for the animation itself. Control that, push F8, then and then go right here, and then we're going to put everything on a layer. Here's the fun part, is that you can just select everything and then do distribute to layers. Since you already put everything inside of a graphic, it'll automatically put them in layers. And then you can just name your layers. So this is his head. This is his white eyes, I call it. Mouth. Nose. I generally keep the nose on the head layer because the nose is not going to generally be manipulated. And then these are, I'll just call it blink. Hair goes on top. Again, with the beard, I'm probably going to put this on just the head layer because these things aren't going to move. And then also look, he looks like a different character. So just changing little things like that can fundamentally change your character. What's this one? Eyebrows. Eyes. Okay, so we got this. And then we put the little thing down here because you're going to rotate it. I've made at least 20 characters like this. This is basically just a foundation for your drawing. All right, so that's it. If you guys have any suggestions for tutorials, I'm kind of running out of ideas. I have no idea what else to teach on. Let me know below. I hope you enjoyed it. I have an animation called Omega. Please check it out, and my Patreon at jtmovie.patreon.com if you want to support it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. See ya.